Well, here's the thing about this studio, and thank goodness that the folks that own EastWest, it's been named a number of things over the years. It was originally Western Recorders, I believe, was the first name. When Frank Sinatra helped finance building it, it was an old supermarket on the corner here, just in a little bit east of Gower. And they built this into one of the great studios in Hollywood ever. I think in 1960 they opened, when he formed Reprise Records. And he built it as a space for them to record artists on Reprise. And as fate would have it, not only did I do a lot of my recording for the new album Three Pairs here, but I began my recording career in Los Angeles in these studios. There's an old room that's not in use anymore. I think they have it as Studio 4 or 5 on the other end of the building. And I recorded the first demos that I ever did in Los Angeles there that are on a box set that Warner Brothers put out, I mean, I don't know, 25 years later, and on the best of. And I recorded the vocals for those demos at different nights. As there was an engineer that had spec time here. He worked on staff. His name was Gordon Shryock. And after hours, they would come in with acts that they thought were worth spending their spec time on. And I was one that he, thought was worthy of giving his spec time to. And we recorded 10 or 11 tracks with Glenn D. Harden on piano, because he knew Glenn D., and David Mansfield on mandolin and fiddle, Jerry McGee on guitar, Stu Perry on drums, a fellow named Robert Wilson on bass, and J.D. Manis on steel. And at the time, I was unaware of what royalty I was I knew those guys, but it really didn't sink in until years later what that moment was in this building. The building was configured a little different then, but thank goodness the folks that own EastWest now saved the building, and it's been declared a historic landmark, and it's one of the few remaining legendary studios in LA that haven't been, confiscated or torn down for other use. And this room in particular, I think they cut My Way in here. They cut a lot of Frank Dean Martin's music here. The Mamas and Papas recorded over in Studio 3. The Monkees cut in Studio 2 and Studio 3. Beach Boys were recording in here. Brian Wilson cut Pet Sounds. The majority of the album was cut between here and Ocean Way and back and forth. But there's a famous shot in that control room where he's giving direction, pointing out at the orchestra in this room. I always felt when I came in this building, there was something in the molecule still in the walls here of this studio that should speak to you if you're listening. If you can get quiet and listen. And so it's been fun to be here today and do some of the new music, some of the stuff we recorded, some of the tracks in this room. Well, this room is very large. It was built to hold an orchestra. I think when they conducted, they have an orchestra conductor podium that kind of is on that wall, the east wall, and faces out. And I think when pictures I've seen, they set the orchestra up kind of lengthwise. Each room is different, the big rooms. This is one of the big rooms. The big rooms have the really high ceilings, and they're set almost like a sound stage, which is why I thought it was an environment that would allow us to shoot in and play live, set up and just literally just play live in the live room, and the live, for better or worse, we just made the noise that we did. But this room is not overly bright. It's not too cacophonous. It's not just full of decay that doesn't stop. You get in some big rooms, and this one has got a pretty natural feel. This is the original linoleum that Bill Putnam and I guess, I don't know that Frank was involved in the actual design. I know he funded the room and worked at it here with a lot of the acts, but this linoleum has something to do with the sound, and that acoustic tile, which is a long gone element of recording studios. It's everything's been done with glass and wood the last 20 years, and I don't know if that's so good. I mean, the rooms, look, I was lucky. I got here to LA in 1977 when these rooms were still the working studios in Hollywood. Soundtrack music was being still cut here. I mean, the Rolling Stones cut here over the years. You know, it's just, I think, important that from an artistic and aesthetic standpoint that these rooms are maintained and they're kept alive, because you get a different sound than you do in your bedroom with the best Pro Tools rig in the world. Won't create what this space, and I really, really do believe there's molecular memory in this room. Like I said, the linoleum's the same, the walls are the same. They changed nothing to the interiors of any of the three main rooms here. And good on them. Shame on those that have torn down some of the great rooms in town. But good for everybody here at EastWest for keeping the room alive as it was. You know, control rooms change, you know, more often than not, but at least these tracking spaces, this live room has been left alone.